So 5-23, pick a card, any card. What's the probability of picking the following cards from the deck? Write your response as a fraction, a decimal, and a percent. Don't use the e-tool. The e-tool does not help. I wish they had it so that it would show all the decks or all the cards in the deck, and it doesn't. So it's not helpful at all. So we're going to find the probability of getting a black card. So I want to remind you, kind of like what we did in chapter 2, the probability is desired events divided by total number of events, all the possible outcomes. I don't write it like that. Rather, I write it as what you want over the total. Okay? So in this case, we're talking about the number of black cards in a standard deck. A number of students today will have told me that we have 26 black cards out of the 52 cards, and they are absolutely correct. We have those 13 spades, 13 clubs, add those together, I get 26 out of the 52 total, and that is it. But I need to reduce this fraction, which means I'm going to divide it by a giant 1 in the form of 26 over 26, like that. Oh, come on. There she goes. And I'm going to get a fraction of 1/2. So something to know, I know many of you, I've told you before, I don't like to work harder than I have to. I try to find shortcuts if I can, as long as I still have the same result, the same thoughts with it. In this case, instead of thinking of the entire deck, I'm going to think of what I want over the total in a different way. So what I want over the total. So I have the total number of colors is 2 colors in the deck. And of those 2 colors, let me try to write it a little better there so you can tell that that says 2. Only one of them is black. So my probability is 1/2 right here without any division. I like that. I like it a lot. I don't want to divide unless I have to. But I have to have it as a decimal and as a percent. So I'm going to go over here in the margin, and I'm going to, because I know that a fraction really is division, I'm going to go ahead and divide that right over here. So I have 1 divided by 2. So I have no 2's in 1, so that's going to be a 0. I'm going to subtract 0 from 1, and I get 1. I'm going to bring down that 0 from a long division. My decimal stays in the same spot. I have 5 2's and 10. 5 times 2 is 10. I subtract, and I have 0 as a leftover. So this is my decimal right here. So my decimal is 0 and 5/10, which is equivalent to 1/2. Now I need to have it as a percentage. Remember, percenta. Centa means 100. So I'm going to take my decimal right here, which is 0 and 5/10, and I'm going to multiply it by 100, which means I'm going to take that decimal right here, and I'm going to move it over 2 spots to the right. And when I do that, it's now going to be 50%. Okay. Now I'm going to do the same thing with clubs. My probability of clubs. So it's what I want over the total. Again, I can look at the whole thing, or I can just look at part of it. In this case, we're talking about a suit. So the total number of suits that I have in my deck of cards is 4. I have hearts, spades, clubs, and diamonds. I believe I did not say. But of those 4 suits, how many of them are a club? Just 1. 4 suits, 1 club. So my probability of getting a club is 1 out of 4. If I had done it with the whole deck, I would still have to divide by a giant 1. No, thank you. I'd rather not. If I can get there without having to divide big numbers, I'm all about that. So now we have 1/4 right here, which I know what 1/4 looks like as a decimal, but just to make my teacher happy because she gives me credit for showing my thinking. Again, I know that a fraction like this is division. So I can take my calculator and I can do 1 divided by 4, just like this, because I can use a calculator as long as I show my work, what I type in. So I grab my handy dandy calculator right here, and I'm going to divide 1 divided by 4 equals. And so that's my decimal equivalent. Whoa. So now that's my second way. Now I'm going to take that decimal right there and to find my percentage, I'm going to multiply by 100, which means I'm going to move my decimal over to the right 2 spots because I have 2 zeros right here. Or I could also use my handy dandy calculator. Multiply by 100 equals 25%. So 1/4 is equivalent to 25 hundredths, which is equivalent to 25%.